Good evening. Thank you for joining us for our Facebook Live. We had a few technical delays and we do apologize for that, but we do believe the error has been fixed. We understand there have been many questions regarding school year P-EBT and summer P-EBT, so we've gathered a panel of experts to provide an overview, and we'll also take some questions at the end. Thank you to all of you who have already submitted questions. If you haven't already submitted questions, please feel free to submit general questions in the comments, and we will answer as many of those as we can. If you have case-specific questions, please call the Arkansas P-EBT Client Assistance Line at 833-316-24221. Before we begin, we'll introduce the panelists. We have Mary Franklin, Director of the Division of County Operations at DHS, Larry Crutchfield, Assistant Director of the Division of County Operations, Kelly Jackson, the Program Administrator for SNAP at DHS, Suzanne Davidson, Director of the Child Nutrition Unit at the Arkansas Department of Education, Sheila Chastain, Associate Director of the Child Nutrition Unit at the Arkansas Department of Education, and Rhonda Betzner, Program Administrator for the Health and Nutrition Unit at DHS. To start, we'll talk about summer P-EBT versus school year P-EBT.
Good evening. So there is a difference between our regular school P-EBT and our summer P-EBT benefits. The school year P-EBT is for meals that were missed during the school year, the 2020 through 2021 school year. The summer P-EBT is for all students that received free or reduced lunch during the school year. So if you received free or reduced lunch during the school year, you would get the regular P-EBT and the summer P-EBT benefits.
School year P-EBT eligibility. Your school district must participate in the National School Lunch Program. They must have a signed agreement with the Department of Education Child Nutrition Office. Students must be approved to receive free and reduced lunches through the National School Lunch Program. And this also includes community eligibility provision 2 schools, where all students at the district eat free due to poverty levels in the area. Students must have attended school virtually, or the school school reported school closures, virtual learning days to qualify. This means that benefits will vary by school, and children in the same household could see a different benefit amount.
For the school year P-EBT child care eligibility, children 6 and under who attend child care qualify if they were on a SNAP case anytime between October 2020 and May 2021. And we are assuming that any child 6 and under attended child care. The amount of benefit that you will receive will be based on the highest amount paid in your county. We used a simplified process to determine the amount of your benefit because it was not possible to determine the virtual instruction days and the closed days for child care centers. So if you have a child that is 6 and under and received SNAP benefits anytime between October 2020 and May 2021, you will receive a benefit.
Good evening. We've given you some information about who is eligible, and now we want to give some additional information about who isn't eligible for pandemic EBT. Students who are not approved to receive free or reduced lunch through a national school lunch program are not eligible for pandemic EBT. Students who attended in-person learning, but their school did not report any school closures or virtual learning days are not eligible for P-EBT. Homeschooled students, not virtual learners, but homeschooled students who were not enrolled in a school with the National School Lunch Program are not eligible. And child care students who were not on an active SNAP case between October 2020 and May 2021 are not eligible.
School year P-EBT is going out right now as we speak, and the amount varies per child based on the number of days that a school was closed or went virtual due to the COVID Eligible public school kids will get a minimum of $48, and eligible private school kids, we receive a minimum of $34. The summer P-EBT will be one standard amount of $375 per child. That file is being processed and those benefits will be issued soon, but no timetable has been set at this time.
So one of the big questions that we are receiving now is when will the cards be issued, or when will the benefits be issued? And how will they be issued? Cards are currently being mailed right now, and all cards should be received by July 31st. The benefits will be issued in 4 installments, and families should always keep the cards that they're going to receive this time, because it is possible that your student or your children will receive more benefits on that card. Benefits for eligible students whose family already have an active SNAP case will be issued on the family's EBT card unless the address for the SNAP case is different from the address at the child's school. In that case, those children will receive new P-EBT cards as well. For eligible students whose family does not already have an active SNAP case, a new P-EBT card will be issued by mail to the address on file with the child's school. Again, families need to keep those cards until all benefits are issued.
All right. We also wanted to take some time to give you all some information about other programs at DHS. So we have the Arkansas Rent Relief Program that assists with past due and future rent and utilities, Essential Worker Child Care Assistance, which helps pays for child care for essential workers regardless of income, and Child Care Assistance, which helps pay for child care for non-essential workers who meet income guidelines. You can learn more about all of these programs at humanservices.arkansas.gov.
And we want to, before we begin taking questions, just remind you that there is a call center specially for pandemic EBT questions. It's the Arkansas P-EBT Client Assistance Line. And the phone number for that new line is 833-316-2421. And those call center hours are going to be Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night. Again, our call center number is 833-316-2421.
Okay, we'll start off with one question that we got in our comments last night. We have a viewer who wants to know, will students who graduated in 2021 still receive P-EBT benefits?
Yes, students who graduated will receive the P-EBT benefits for school year 2021.
Okay, another question we have, do children under 6 get the benefits?
Children under 6 who are in an active SNAP case between October of 2020 and May of 2021 will get the benefit based on the highest amount that was issued in the county where the child lives.
Another question, do the same people who got P-EBT last year get it again this year? The answer to that question is if you meet all of the other eligibility requirements. All right, moving on. To the next question, what should I do if I think my child should have received P-EBT but did not?
If you think your child should have gotten P-EBT and did not, call our call center at 833-316-2421. They have information on file about who is eligible and be able to answer your questions. And again, those call center hours are Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Another question is, how do you know if you're getting the benefits?
In order to receive P-EBT, you have to have been enrolled in the free or reduced lunch program through the National School Lunch Program. So if you did not complete that application or you were not rolled over from last year, then you will not be eligible to receive this year's P-EBT benefit.
I'd like to just add to that, that all school districts in the state during the 2021 school year took applications for meal benefits. So the districts went through the process of meal application issuance and approval.
And in addition to being approved to receive free or reduced lunch, your school had to have reported up to the Department of Education that there were closures or virtual learning days. So it requires both. There had to be closure or virtual learning days in the school where your child goes, and your school and your child has to have been approved to receive free or reduced lunch through the National School Lunch Program.
The next question is, what do we do if the call center says the child is not on the list, but we think that they should be?
The first thing we need to understand is that P-EBT is still currently being processed. So kids are still being added to our system every day. Cards are being mailed, benefits are being issued. So if your child is not in our system today, that does not mean that they're not eligible. What I've been telling parents is if you have not received your card by August 1st, give us a call back at our P-EBT assistance line, or you can give us an email at pebt@dhs.arkansas.gov.
And just to add a little bit more to that, it's possible that every child's not eligible for every payment. You know, there are going to be 4 incremental payments. The first payment is for the months of August and September, and the second payment will be for October and November, and so on through the 4 payments. So every child won't necessarily receive the benefit all 4 times. Because it is dependent, again, on the number of days that child's school was closed, or even that child's individual classroom was closed, and whether or not the child is on free or reduced lunch. So you may not get a benefit in the first batch, the first issuance, but your child may have become eligible later. So just to explain a little bit more about how this is working.
Okay. What if the school did not send information? Can they still do so, and for how long?
If it's application information, which is the student's eligibility for free or reduced lunch, they can still fill out an application to receive the summer P-EBT benefit. They can fill out those applications until July 31st. Is that correct? Yes, July 31st to receive the summer EBT benefit. The school year P-EBT benefit, the period has closed for the eligibility of that. So schools have already turned in for every month for last school year who was eligible and when they became eligible for free or reduced lunch. So your child may have become eligible, let's say in November, by either filling out an application at that time or by being a SNAP recipient at that time and being directly certified. So the student's eligibility could happen at any time through the year. Thus, that student would become eligible for the P-EBT benefit if their school closed because of the COVID situation at that time. I'm sorry, Lexi was reminding me, if you do need to apply for benefits for the summer PEBT and you believe your child was eligible for free or reduced lunch and you have not already done so, then you would need to contact your child's school district. That's where you apply for DHS. I mean, for school meal benefits. You cannot apply with DHS and you cannot apply with the child nutrition office. You have to go to your school to be able to apply.
Okay. What can you tell us about the schedule of benefits in the coming days/weeks?
Well, we have a schedule of benefits that we laid out in our state plan that I think several folks have read. We have issued files to our contractor that runs our eligibility system. They have double checked them. They're then sending them to our EBT contractor, who then puts them into a queue while other states are sending theirs as well. To be very careful about this and to make sure that we don't duplicate, only a little over 100,000 and change has, I think, been sent thus far. The next round, the October-November schedule is being prepared right now and could go out before the end of the week, although I'm not going to commit to that because I have no control over it. The state prepares the files and then two different contractors have to handle them and get them into the process flow. But the schedule that was posted in the state plan, we still have every intention of finishing that payment cycle as shown in the plan, which is August 30. It may be that we combine some payments and push some closer together instead of staying in our week to 10-day window. We're just trying to make it easier on our grocery stores and their employees and on our clients as well, while trying to maintain integrity in the program. So we may be behind a little bit on the initial issuances, but we still are able to, at this time, believe to continue and complete them all. And that it would include the summer, which is not posted on this one state plan that's been viewed. So that would include the summer as well, before August 30.
What if we already have a P-EBT card?
So if you have a card from last year, the new benefits for this year are not going to be issued on that card. You're going to get a new card for the 2020-2021 school year or the summer P-EBT for this summer. So cards from last year won't have the benefits issued to them. You will get a new card if you're eligible this year. But we want you to keep that card since we are issuing payments over 4 different installments. Keep that card in case your child is eligible for one of those other installments.
What if you got a different address?
So we encouraged everyone before the school year ended to update their addresses with the schools, and we understand that sometimes that did not happen. So if your card goes to an incorrect address, you are always welcome to call our P-EBT hotline, and they can take your information over the phone and give that information to DHS. Unfortunately, we're not able to change addresses prior to our cards being mailed out. But once we do receive that information, we can upload or update the address and reissue the card to the correct address.
Do developmental daycares qualify?
I just wanted to clarify that the cards are going to be mailed to the address you had on file with the school, the individual school that was reported to the child nutrition unit and then sent to us. So what the school had is where the card will go. And then this question was,
do developmental daycares qualify?
Yes, all daycares qualify. If your child is 6 and under, They will automatically qualify if they have received SNAP benefits between October 2020 and May 2021. So it doesn't matter what child care center they went to. Doesn't matter if they went to Head Start or Miss Susie's daycare center. It won't matter, just as long as they're 6 and under and qualified for SNAP.
If everyone at school got free lunches, will those students qualify for summer P-EBT?
Yes, the answer to that one is yes.
The next question is, what if I want to get a new card instead of using an old one?
So the cards that were issued for last year's P-EBT, they won't be good for receiving this year's P-EBT. So you're going to get a new card if your children will get cards if they are eligible for P-EBT for the 2020, 2021 school year and the summer EBT benefit for this summer.
Why are the amounts so varied even in the same school district?
I will try my best to explain this because this year for 2021, USDA required us to first, of course, we've established the fact that they had to qualify for free and reduced meal benefits. But then USDA required us to determine if the student was a in-person learner, that meant they were at school in the brick and mortar building, or if they were part of a school but were a virtual learner. So if they were a virtual learner, they didn't have access to meals in USDA's mind, and they were able to receive the full benefit. If your student was an in-person learner and your district submitted this information to the state agency, and that's where we get all of our information from, is from the district. But if the student was an in-person learner at school, there were 2 surveys that were taken to determine how many days each month a school might have closed. One of those was where the district would report closures due to COVID. The other one was a Google survey that was sent out to all districts where they were if they had a virtual day, like within the week, that they did go pivot to virtual for the whole student body, then those were counted. So we did, I mean, again, it all relies on if your district reported those days. And then when we got the total number of days, whether it be 5 days or 20 days, that was multiplied times $6.82. That's all that USDA would allow us per day to do the calculation on. So that is the main thing I think that is so different this time from the March to May first issuance of the benefits. It is the way our plan had to be written and the way USDA required us to approve this. We also were able to get it down to the school level. So that's the district down to the school. But one of the things that USDA also required us to do is to have a predominant number of grades within that school that closed. So what that basically means is if only the 3rd grade had to close due to COVID and the grades at the school were 1, 2, 3, that's not a predominant number of grades. So that 3rd grade is not going to get the benefit because USDA made us take it to the school level and required us to use the predominant number of days.
Okay, we have a viewer that's asking if we can go over the school year P-EBT payment schedule one more time. Why is it set up this way?
So I'll start with that and we'll see if others need to clarify. The school year payment, USDA asked us not to do one single payment. They asked us to spread the payments out. So that's why there are 4 payments going out for the school year instead of just one like we did last time. And the payments are going to go out no later than August 30th. I mean, the first payment is in process right now. Many of those children should have already received their cards. More are being mailed. And once the first payment has been issued, we will begin processing the second installment. And so on until we get all the benefits issued. And that includes the summer benefit. We can't give you a specific date because there are some things that it's beyond just, it has to, it's not something that ADE sends out or DHS sends out. We have to get these benefits issued electronically and get cards mailed. And so there's just a process that needs to happen. And so there could be we don't want to give you a specific date, because if we gave you that specific date, then something might happen in the process that cause it to need to be the next day. Just know that those benefits are going out as soon as possible, incrementally. When one payment cycle is done, we'll do the next one, and so on until we get all the benefits issued. And they will all be issued by August 30th.
Just to add to that, there's a few rules that went along with the way that the state agencies had to write this plan. And it was primarily to be able to identify the students every 2 months who might become eligible at some time throughout the school year. If we picked one date, then there's going to be a huge number of children that are automatically excluded, because children become eligible for free or reduced lunch all through the school year. If we had to pick one day, then there are school closures because of COVID for a lot of time throughout the school year, all year last year. So you would not get the benefit for any of those days. So part of the requirements for us to receive this money into the state was that we would look at no more than a 2-month period to calculate those benefits. And so that is what we did. They also put in the requirement about the predominance of grades, because they wanted to look at the school level of information and what was the situation of the majority of the students within that school. And so if those things were not included, we would not receive this money at all. The plan would not be approved and nobody would get benefits. So in order to meet those requirements, we had to put some of those stipulations into the plan.
Gotcha. We also we're getting more questions about seniors who graduated. If we can clarify whether they get the benefit, and I'll take this one and say yes. Students who graduated this year are eligible to receive the benefits so long as they meet the eligibility requirements. The next question we have is if we can go over what the minimum amount reflects. So the person says, I got $48. Can you tell me what that minimum amount for eligible public school students reflects?
$48 came from, in the requirements, the closure had to be in place for 5 days. So when we started school last August, school normally starts around the 13th, 14th, 15th of August. But just before school was ready to start, the governor delayed the start of school till August 25th, I think was the date. But that gave us 7 days that we were able to get USDA to agree that our 5-day minimum to start the issue of benefits had been met at the front end. And so that's the reason the $48 is there for that as part of the August benefits. So everyone who is free and reduced eligible for meal benefits should get the $48. public schools. Excuse me.
So it's pretty much the same issue with the public schools and the private schools. Public schools were closed. The governor allowed them to close or delay opening, I'm sorry, for 5 days. And we met the minimum requirement for that. The private schools also delayed their opening as well. They did not delay it as long as the public schools did, which is why their amount or their minimum amount is $34. So it's the same situation. It's just that private schools delayed their opening by 5 days and public schools by 7.
Thank you. So the next question is, when can we expect summer P-EBT and the rest of the school year benefits?
All of the benefits, our plan is to have all of the benefits issued no later than August 30th. And as we've mentioned, the first round of benefits is already in progress. And then, so the second, third, and fourth rounds will follow shortly after the first round, and summer EBT as well will be what's issued by August 30th.
If the whole district offered free lunch, even to those that don't normally get the free and reduced lunch, does every student qualify?
No, because during this time of closure, USDA allowed schools to operate under the seamless summer option. Therefore, they were able to feed all children at no cost to the child during the school year from all school year for 2021. So just because they were free did not, excuse me. Only in your special provision schools, CEP and P2, will that apply.
We go over non-custodial parents and foster children. So we did receive a question that said, my child is on a non-custodial parents/guardian SNAP case. Will we be issued P-EBT cards, or will the benefit be issued to the non-custodial parent/guardian's EBT card?
So this is a hot question. And what we want to say is the benefit will go to whomever the parent or guardian is that's listed on the child's information at the school. So if there is any discrepancy about that, you would have to actually be referred back to your school. We can only issue benefits to whomever is listed on the child's information at the school.
What about school closures for snow? Will that be covered?
No, it was only closures due to COVID.
Another viewer would like to know, why isn't summer P-EBT being divided?
So summer P-EBT is a one-time benefit, and we're going to issue that at one time. We're not going to divide those payments up.
Another viewer has asked, what if I have specific questions about my case? I can answer this one. You should call the Arkansas P-EBT Client Assistance Line at 833-316-2421. Another viewer is asking again, is preschool children included?
Yes, preschool children are included if they are on SNAP.
Another question, why are there different amounts?
The amount of money from child to child and from school to school depends on several factors. One of those is whether or not the child is enrolled full-time as a virtual student within the school district, or if they are enrolled and attending school in person and the school has to close because of COVID, whether that is a routine closure like every Friday so that they can do extra cleaning and sanitizing at the school, or if it is a situational outbreak where there's a bunch of cases and exposures within that school community. So those may be different, even from a high school to an elementary within the same district. Your child could receive a different payment. The other thing that will affect the amount of money that's received is how many days. The payments are based on a daily amount. So every day of virtual instruction is a day that is counted towards your payment.
Next question is why are there differences in amount for different states?
Yeah, so Arkansas and all states have to adhere to the USDA guidelines. Arkansas we can't answer why a other state may receive more or less benefits. We can only answer what Arkansas is doing.
When do benefits expire?
Benefits will expire 1 year after the date they are issued, if they are untouched.
And another viewer would like to know, what if a student was virtual and in person, a hybrid learner?
Those are considered in-person learners.
Students who were hybrid learners would be considered in-person learners and would only get the benefits for the days that their school reports closures. Correct. Gotcha. Another person wants us to remind them how much the summer P-EBT benefit is. I can take that and say it is $375. The summer P-EBT benefit is $375. Also have a viewer who wants to know, does a Head Start student need to take any action?
No, a Head Start student would not need to take any action at this time. And again, if the Head Start child was eligible for the SNAP benefits during the past school year, they would receive a benefit.
All righty. So that is all the time we have for questions tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. If you had questions that weren't answered, we will do our best to get you the information in the coming days. And we are going to bow out.